Hi there, threes, fours, fives and sixes. For this week's PE lesson, we're going to be working on target games or sports. Now, if you were at school, usually we'd be playing things like quoits or bocce or finska, all those fun games. But I have to be a little bit more creative and think about things that you would have around the house that we could use for targets and for projectiles and balls as well. So for today's lesson, these are the things that you are going to need. All right? The first thing you're going to need is a towel and a pair of socks. I'll explain why in just a second. The next thing you're going to need is some aluminium foil, because you will need to take a sheet of aluminium foil, so tear off a sheet about the same size as an A4 piece of paper, and you're going to crunch it up into a ball that is about the same size as a table tennis ball. You're also going to need some containers to aim for. I'm lucky enough that I have some plastic food containers, and you'll need 6 of them, but if you don't have 6 plastic food containers, you could use cups or bowls in your house as well. And the last 2 things you'll need is a bucket or something to aim for. It could be a clothes basket, it could be a shoe box, it could be a pot. It doesn't really matter what it is, just as long as you have some sort of bucket to aim for. A bucket, what's a bucket? A bucket to aim for. And you'll also need some A4 pieces of paper, and I'll explain why in a minute. But everybody, our first challenge for this week is going to be the folding towel challenge, and it looks like this. I'm going to get my towel, and I'm going to place it on the floor completely spread out, so it looks like this. I'm going to take about 2 steps back from the towel. 1, 2. You can take a bit more if you like, but just so I stay in the camera view, I'm going to take 2 steps. And what I need to do is to turn my socks into a ball. I just roll them up. We should be used to this by now. I've done it a couple of times. I roll them up into a ball, and now you can throw overarm or underarm, but my job is to try and get the ball to land on the towel. So I throw it, I get it to land on perfect. But this is where it gets more difficult, more challenging. I now need to fold the towel in half. So now my target has become smaller, and I still need to stay the same distance away. Same thing again. Yes, I got it. Guess what? I fold the towel in half again. Oh, I didn't get it that time. I go back. I keep trying until I get it on. Perfect. Once it's on, I need to fold the towel in half again. As you can see, it gets a little bit more tricky each time. Now it's your turn. How many times can you do this, and how folded can your towel become? You can also make this a little bit more challenging by going further back. You can make it easier by going closer to your target, the towel. You could also make it easier, if you wanted to, by instead of folding your socks up, you just left them like this, because they won't bounce and roll off. But it's up to you. Be creative with it, have fun, and I can't wait to see how you go. Alright everybody, the next challenge that we're going to play now, it's going to be called the Takeaway Challenge. So, my younger students at school, I made a video very similar for them this week with this challenge, but I'm going to make this somewhat more difficult for you. And the way it works is I'm going to put my 6 containers on the ground in a pyramid shape, and it will look like this. I put my 6 containers down on the ground, 3 at the back, 2 in the middle, and 1 at the front. So they'll take shape just like that. I'll put them sideways though so you can see what I'm doing. I've got them set up like that. I take a few steps away. 1, 2, just 2 today. And I need to stay standing up. And what I need to do using this ball that I made out of the aluminium foil is I need to throw it with a bounce to get it to go into one of those containers. So it must bounce first. You can do it underarm, you can do it overarm. But the point of this game is that every time I get this ball into one of the containers, I take a container away. And you need to see how many turns it takes you to get rid of all of your containers. And eventually it's going to become quite difficult because there'll only be 1 container left for you to aim for. So this game looks a little like this. So take my position away. You can go further away if you want it to be more challenging, closer if you want it to be easier. And I need to bounce this ball to get it into a container. Oh, didn't work that time. I have to throw it harder. Ah, so close. And as you can see, it's not as easy as what you thought it was going to be. Ah, no. And you actually get a bit tired trying to pick up the ball every time as well. You've got to work out the angles. Ah. This isn't a very good performance from your PE teacher. Come on. Be the ball. Yes! I got that one in. I can take that container away. I'm up to about 7 shots. Make sure you keep count. See how many shots it takes for you to get rid of all of the containers or all of the cups or the bowls or whatever you're using for a target. Okay? Press pause now. You have a turn at that. And I hope you do a lot better than what I just did. Alright everyone. You should be back for your final challenge now. And your final challenge for this week's PE lesson for our target games is that we're going to sort of reenact using the javelins that we have at school. Now, I know that you don't have any of those soft foam javelins at home, but what you do have is some paper, and we can create paper aeroplanes. So the idea is we'll put our bucket down. We're going to make 3 paper aeroplanes. We're going to move a distance away. You might want to be 2 steps away. You might want to be 5 steps away if you have the space. And with our 3 paper aeroplanes, we're going to throw them and try and get them to go into the bucket. And right now, I'm going to quickly teach you the best way to make a paper plane. Get ready for it. Okay, 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s. This is the easiest way to make a paper plane. The first thing you need to do is to fold your sheet in half long ways. So it looks like this. Very simple. And then you open it up. And you should have a line straight down the middle that you can see. The next thing you need to do is to grab one corner and fold it down to that halfway line so it makes like a rectangle, a triangle, sorry. And you'll do the same on the other side. So you make 2 little triangles at the top. Then you grab the sides again and you fold them into the middle to make some longer triangles. Same on the other side, press it down. You then fold your paper in half so it looks like this, and you can fold the wings down. Fold on one side, flip it onto the other side, and fold it down. And if you open it up, now we've got this nice, cool paper plane that we can use as our projectile to sort of recreate us using those foam javelins at school. So you'll need to make 3 of those. Watch this video on how to do it, and I will show you what the game looks like now. Okay, 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s. Using my video tutorial just before, you should have seen how to make a paper plane, and now you've made 3 of them. You find a spot in your house, or probably in your house is the best idea because these paper planes can be affected by the wind a lot. You make sure that there's no one else around because, as we know, we don't throw paper planes when other people are around because they are quite sharp, and if they get you in the eye, you could hurt somebody. So I've put my target down, which is my bucket. I'm going to go away with my 3 planes, and using my overhand throwing technique where I step with my opposite foot, I point with my opposite hand, and I throw with my dominant hand, I'm going to try and aim to get these planes into the bucket. Let's see how I go. Oh, that was pretty close, that one. I'm going too high. I have to readjust my line, my aim. It's not over though. I can get these planes and I can have another turn. And I might need to come a little bit closer because I just haven't got the skills. In and out. Alright, I've got 1 out of 3 so far. That's my score to beat. And like with all of these PE activities, you need to change it to accommodate your skill level. So if you're finding it too easy because you're too close, go further back. If you're finding that it's too challenging, come a little bit closer. Have a play around with it. Be creative. You might try and throw some over your head into the bucket. Maybe you'd like to try and throw some between your legs. Start off with the overhand and then change it up as you get better and as you progress. But like with all of my activities, some of them might seem a little bit silly, but I've tried to make them as engaging as possible and as enjoyable, and I hope that you can have a lot of fun with them. Please remember to fill out your Google form sheet for this week's lesson, and also, it's been a long time since I've seen all of you. I'd love to see you post and send some videos back to me on the Google Classroom. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it would be great if you could. And if you feel like you would like to participate in a little more physical activity, don't forget I have created the optional physical activities idea Google Doc for you to go and have a look at. So give that a shot. And don't forget to also have a look at your how-to tip with Mr. O this week. You might find it a little bit better than last week's one. Okay, everybody, I'll see you next week. Bye.